When faith meets heartbreak, what happens? Hannah's story from the Bible shows us how a longing for something deeply cherished can evolve into an incredible journey of devotion, trust, and divine transformation. But this isn't just a story of a mother's love. It's a powerful reminder of how God can turn the barren places of our lives into abundant blessings. In this video, let's uncover this inspiring story tucked into the early chapters of 1 Samuel, where faith and perseverance meet God's miraculous power. And remember, if you love engaging stories from the Bible, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next incredible story. In ancient Israel, Hannah lived during a time of change, a period when Israel was moving from the rule of judges to that of kings. Hannah and her husband, Elkanah, shared a deep bond, but their marriage was marred by sorrow because Hannah couldn't have children. For Hannah, this was no small grief in her culture. A woman's identity and worth were often wrapped up in her ability to bear children. To add to her pain, Elkanah's other wife, Peninnah, had many children and never missed an opportunity to remind Hannah of her barrenness. Peninnah's taunts were constant, turning yearly visits to the tabernacle at Shiloh into painful reminders of what Hannah lacked. But Hannah wasn't resigned to suffering in silence. Instead, she took her anguish directly to God. On one of those trips to Shiloh, she poured out her soul, making a bold vow, "Lord, if you give me a son, I will dedicate him to you for his entire life." This was no casual prayer. It was the cry of a woman at the end of herself, yet full of hope in God's ability to make the impossible happen. As she prayed, the high priest, Eli, noticed her tears and silent prayer. Mistaking her for being drunk, he approached, but Hannah quickly explained her deep sorrow. Moved by her honesty and faith, Eli blessed her, saying, "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant what you have asked of him." Hannah's demeanor changed immediately. Though her circumstances hadn't yet shifted, she left with renewed hope, trusting that God had heard her prayer. Not long after, God answered Hannah's prayer. She gave birth to a son and named him Samuel, meaning heard by God. Yet, Hannah's story didn't end with Samuel's birth. True to her promise, she brought Samuel back to the tabernacle, dedicating him to serve God for his entire life. This was no small sacrifice. It meant giving up the child she had prayed for and dreamed of holding. But Hannah's faith was stronger than her personal desires. She knew Samuel's life had a greater purpose in God's plan. Because of her faithfulness, God blessed Hannah with more children. Samuel went on to become one of Israel's greatest prophets, playing a key role in the nation's history. He anointed Israel's first kings, Saul and later David, the ancestor of Jesus himself. Hannah's story is not just about one answered prayer, it's about how God's plans go far beyond our immediate desires. Hannah's journey reminds us that when we trust God with our deepest hopes and struggles, He not only hears us but also exceeds our expectations in ways we may not foresee. If you're facing your own barren place, whether literal or metaphorical, know that God specializes in bringing life to those areas. Remember, the story of Hannah is a powerful reminder that God is always listening and ready to turn our sorrow into joy. If this story has inspired you, don't forget to subscribe for more uplifting stories from the Bible, and may this message bring you peace and renewed faith.